Welcome back to Custom Action Figures 101. I'm Rob Panick. Thanks again for joining us this week. This week we're going to review some paintbrushes from Reaper Miniatures. We have a couple of different types of brushes from them here. We have their Pro Brush Golden Taklon series. This is a synthetic bristle brush, and we also have their Master Series Kolinsky. This is a natural fiber Kolinsky sable brush, and we're going to get into a little bit of the differences with each one of the brushes and get a little more in depth with them. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the review. Now, the main differences between the Pro Brush and the Master Series are the synthetic hair versus the natural hair. The Reaper Pro Paint, this brush has a synthetic Taklon bristle versus the Pro Paint actually has a natural sable bristle. You can see a difference. Usually your natural hair brushes are going to have a darker colored bristle than your synthetics, and they're going to vary. They're going to have some different variations in the way they function. Actually, most of the paint that we use making custom action figures is acrylic paint. Synthetics, they work very well with acrylics. They're easy to clean. They're a little more forgiving if you don't remember to immediately clean the bristles off. You know, if you let the paint dry on it a little bit, you're going to have a little bit more forgiveness in cleaning it off. Excuse me. With a synthetic versus with the natural bristles, acrylic paint can actually attack the bristles. So with a natural bristle brush, you're going to really want to make sure, especially with, you know, the Pro Paint series, you're going to make sure that you want to clean these brushes as soon as you're finished using them. The brushes come with a little tube to keep the bristles straight, keep up with those. Can really keep from damaging the bristles during storage. So with these guys, you're going to want to clean them, put them away with their cap in place, pretty much as soon as you've used them. Now, one of the advantages that you have with a natural bristle, especially with a fine sable, the sable hair, a sable is like a mink. It's like a mongoose or a weasel type animal, and generally the hairs for paintbrushes, they come from the tail. These hairs, they have a very fine point. When they're wet, they have a tendency to stick together and cling to each other, which really makes for a good fine detail brush, which, you know, you can still get good details with a synthetic brush. This is a 5.0 versus this is a 30.0. Generally, you're going to find when you get into 20-0, 30-0, 40-0, really fine detail brushes, you're going to find those in a natural bristle, just because of the fact that, you you know, you're able to, the bristles have a finer point and they hold together and adhere better when wet. A lot of times, you know, for painting, excuse me, large surfaces, for doing your dry brushing, this is a number 2 flat. You can see the tip on this guy. Pop him open real quick for you. It's a flat bristle brush. This brush is great for covering large surfaces, for applying your base coat, and it also can work very well for dry brushing. And this is, as I said, it's a number 2 Reaper Pro Paint flat bristle brush, and this is the Golden Tackling small dry brush number 2 flat. This is the synthetic brush, and the same with it. It comes with a little tube. When you store it, put the little tube back on it so your bristles don't get damaged in storage. They have several options on their website. The website will be in the description. This is a actual brush set that they have that comes with a number 2 flat, a number 0, and a 5-0 detail brush. And you can also buy all the different brushes individually. Now, to just give you a little bit of an idea of how each one lays down paint, I'm going to be using a little bit of the Reaper Master Series paint, their Nightmare Black. First, got the 5-0 Reaper. This is just a piece of plastic that I've sanded and prepped. Gonna get a little with the, this is the 5-0. As you can see, I'll give you a little closer. A lot of your synthetics, they'll tend to taper out as you make your brush stroke. Just the nature of the material, how it holds and releases paint. The synthetic bristles. Now, by comparison, here's the 30-0 Reaper Master Series. Now it's going to give a lot finer line, just for the simple fact that it's a 30-0 versus a 5-0. But just to give you an idea, as you can see, the natural bristles actually hold their paint quite well. Being a smaller bristle brush, it doesn't hold as much paint as the other, but what I want you to look at is here. If you can see it, it starts to kind of taper out around this area with the synthetic bristle, but the natural bristle actually holds a good dark line all the way up to about here. I mean, and considering that it's a 30-0 versus a 5-0, the 5-0 definitely holds a good bit more paint. But with a 30-0, I mean, you can get some really fine detailed lines with this guy. They work really well for, like, if you're painting eyes, to get your your eyebrows, the little thin line for eyelashes over the top of your eyes. You can get a fairly decent actual eyeball with these guys. And remember, the smaller the number, when you get into the -0/0, the smaller the number, the thicker it is. The larger the number, the finer it is. So a 40-0 is going to be a lot finer than a 5-0, and then you've got a 10-0, a 20-0, 30-0 right on up. So anyway, that's something you need to look for when you're looking for a fine detailed brush. Definitely suggest going with a sable hair brush. Find the finest detail brush you can find, and that just happens to be, for the most part, this guy, the Super Micro 40-0 Master Series Kolinsky Reaper. Haven't seen a lot of brushes finer than that out there. Then, as an example, as I showed you earlier, the number 2 flat dry brush, just by itself. It's a nice broad brush. As I said, you can use this guy not only as a dry brush, but you can use it to paint larger sections. Like if you're laying down a base coat, and then as an actual, using our technique that we learned in one of our earlier tutorials. As an actual dry brush. Okay, so that's going to do it for our review of the Reaper brushes. Their Golden Taklon series, their Master Series Kolinsky. And be sure to go check out their website at reapermini.com, reapermini.com. They've got a really great selection of brushes. They've got a really great selection of paints. We're going to go into some of their paints in an upcoming review, so be sure to stay tuned for that. Be sure to join us on the forum at serpentor'slair.info. Check out our news feed at serpentor'slair.com. Be sure to check out my website, as I always say, at galacticplastics.net. Actually been doing a little bit of work on the website the past few days, doing some updates, so go check them out. Look for all of us on Facebook, Serpentor's Lair, Custom Action Figures 101, and galacticplastics.net. And be sure to check out the YouTube channel. Like the video, share the video with your friends, give it some love like I always say. Check out all the links in the comments to all the pages. Thanks again for joining us, and may the force be with you.